Hey there YouTube, Petey Twofinger, and today we're talking about replacing a cable that's went bad. This is a Logitech F310. It's a joypad video game controller, and it's got a USB cable, nice long cable that ended up, I think it shorted in here. Basically, it had a kink here coming right out of the box, and when if I plugged it into the computer, it would say USB device not recognized. And then if I took the cable and forced it in on itself, where maybe it would make connection, and plugged it in, it recognized long enough for the driver to load. Now mind you, I did not move. The driver loaded, I clicked on the Logitech app, and I was hitting buttons, and it was lighting up like, hey, it's working. Because it has a picture of the joystick on the Logitech app, and when you press a button, it lights up recognizing that it's making contact. Well, as soon as I really kind of moved it, a pop-up came that said USB device not recognized, and that means you have a short. So I'm going to be replacing the cable. There's another intro video for this. It's probably going to be a multi-part series. All in all, something like this, typically, if I take my time, it's going to take me a good hour. So I'm going to be probably multi-parting this. And first off, we should go over the tools you'll need. So, of course, a screwdriver. I have a hobby knife. I have a nail clipper, which probably won't use. Pokey tool, that might come in handy, or you could always use a needle. These are really nice side cutters, model 170 shears by Plato. You can get these for a couple of bucks on eBay. And I recommend, if you're into electronics, you get a pair of these. They're really sharp, spring action. The only thing is you should take a file and round off the tip a little bit, because they're so sharp when you get them. I cut my leg pretty bad with it. I was bleeding. Like, it wasn't just blood, I was bleeding. So yeah, you need some kind of snips, although in a pinch. I've got Q-tips and alcohol because I always use flux. I've got some 6040 Kester type leaded solder. With your solder, it's just important that it has lead content. I've got a small needle nose. This isn't my smallest. My smallest needle nose is gone. Time took that. Oh, the chicken.
The chicken. It's a nice chick. Yes. You good boy. Go play with this fishy chicken. Go play with this fishy and take a nap.
So we've got snips, a lighter for stripping wire, fine wire, needle nose. Like I said, I really like a fine one. For removing the solder, this is a vacuum pump style. So you'll come in with the iron and get this in position, and then put this soldering iron on the solder till it heats. As soon as it turns to a liquid, you depress it, it sucks it up, and then you get the heat off. The enemy to everything is heat. We want to only apply the heat as long as we need to, because the longer and the more times we apply heat to this circuit board, the more we risk damaging the copper traces. There's very thin layers of copper that carry the electricity, kind of like a maze. And so I find that using this is good to get the bulk of the solder, but there will be some left behind, and for that we use this Goot wick. This is desoldering wick, and whenever I use the Goot wick, you cut it off as you use it. It fills up with solder, and then you're supposed to discard that. So whenever I use the Goot wick, I will glob my paste flux. This is actually plumber's paste flux. If you're a regular, forgive me for talking about flux again, but I really don't think many people use it, or the people that do use it keep it as their little secret. Because if you've soldered without flux, you know that the solder tends to not really want to stick unless it's really clean or really hot. Well, if you use flux, it sticks like nobody's business, like magic. And then what I do is apply some rubbing alcohol, and hence the little paper towels ripped up. the Q-tips and the Ronson bottle that's full of the highest percentage you can get, which I think this is like 90 rubbing alcohol. And then I have something to measure. I got some calipers. I got some replacement zip ties because see, there's a ferrite bead. The wire comes out and coils around that ferrite. So we're going to unsolder these connection points back here and pull this wire off. We are going to unloop it from through this barrel and then measure out how long they had it. At that point I'm going to cut the wire just after the breach. Then I will inspect where I think the breach is, the crack, and try to find it. Because when you pull that out and find it, you go, yay, I was right. But it's tough to find. Anyway, once I cut it, I'm going to measure out how long the original wire was stripped for, use my clicky-clacky Klein Tools Catapult 11063W one-handed wire stripper and strip just the outer, what do they call that, insulation off of this. And then we're going to recreate the original cable using these zip ties and everything. We're going to run the wire through the thing. And now if that doesn't work out and we have to skip the ferrite bead, oh well. But what we're not going to skip is this rubber block. And for that, I'm going to be doing some surgery, cutting around it, and then using the pokey tool to poke through it. I might even get a drill bit that's the right size, the same size outer diameter as this is, and run that through there to clean out whatever I need to. And then when I reapply this, I could always, if I wanted to go crazy, I could use some super glue. And then music. After 15 minutes or a half hour, if you start swearing a lot, you need to take a break. Get up, walk around, take a look out the window, refocus your eyes, say hi to your loved ones, and then jump back in. I find taking little breaks like that to be, I don't do it enough. Yeah, that's it for part one. Come back and I'll see you soon. Good luck and peace.